Hello and hello. I am Regina Weston and I bring the heat. I would like to present to you Renaissance women, trailblazers, leaving behind a path for others to follow. So sit back and relax your feet and learn from these young ladies because they are doing great things in the community. They're changing lives one at a time. I would like to present to you Margaret Smith. She is a mother, a social worker, speaker of the gospel, a domestic violence survivor. She enjoys cooking, making jewelry, and singing. You are a survivor of domestic violence. Can you briefly share your story?
I was a victim of domestic violence, and how I came in to become a person of domestic violence. Me and my husband, we first was good friends. He never showed me any sign of craziness except he used to love to joke and stuff like that. And we were friends, and eventually we became more than friends, and we got married. And from the beginning, from the day we got married, it was just like all hell broke loose. First, calling me names and cursing me out, and just acting ways that just wasn't normal. Eventually, he started wanting to hit and beat on me. So it was abuse to the point that, you know, I was afraid when he went to work and come back in. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what way he was coming in. Sometimes he would come in nice. Sometimes he would come in raging for what. He can't come in accusing me that I've been with somebody, and every man in the building, even though they had their own wives and the he would accuse me that I, slept with the men. And it was nothing like that. The years that I was with him, I never cheated on him. I don't know what happened in his life to cause him to be that way. But he could be nice to everybody, but when it came to me, I was the worst person in the world.
What is your advice to another woman who may find herself in a similar situation?
My advice to another woman who may find herself in a situation, sort of seeing signs of abuse. If he hit you one time, get ready to know that he's going to do it again, because that one time was a testing fact to see if he could get away with it, by just sweet talking you and telling you that, oh, baby, I won't do it again. But that's not so, because with his alcohol, drugs, or whatever he may be using, that he used as a crutch and an excuse, tell him what to do, he's going to come at you again. And if you don't do something about it, he's going to continue. Either you go to the law, tell you to get out if you can. And you may ever want the relationship, but it's not a real relationship. You just have to make up in your mind that you're not going to take it, and you're not going to be somebody punching bag. So therefore, find a way, separate yourself from the situation.
Tell me about your passion for cooking and how did that begin?
I love to cook. My passion for cooking started as a child, because when I was a girl, my mother and father both cooked. My father cooked a lot, but my mother, she would cook. And I was a quiet child, and I used to love to go in the kitchen and sit. And I would sit there, and I would watch her, cook, fix certain things. And the same with my dad. And I just took it in. And one day, my sister Rose was supposed to have cooked, and she didn't. She was busy courting. And I went in, and it was beans, but I took the beans and I picked them, I washed them, I started the fire. We had a wood stove, and I took the beans, and I saw how my mother did it. She would put them in water and soak them a little bit, wash them, and soak them a little bit, pour the water off, wash them, and put them in the pot, and put them on the stove. And she then would take, like, salt pork. She would cut it up in pieces, and she would boil it for a little while to boil some of the salt off of it, and then she would fry it. That was a side dish to meat. and she would make her biscuits, and I saw how she would make her biscuits, put the flour and her shortening and everything, and she would make them, and then she would get it into a solid dough, and she would put it in the pan and cook. So I did that, and I cooked it. And my mother said, Margaret, you cook this food? I said, yes, ma'am. So I became my mother's cook.
And you also make jewelry. Tell me about that.
The jewelry, it didn't come till late in life. I retired, and I had moved back here to North Carolina, and I found some beads where that it was a necklace, and it had broken. So I went and got, the coil, and I put it together, made a bracelet. It wasn't enough to do a necklace, so I made a double bracelet. And one day, while I'm on my way to prayer with missionary Ida Sutton, and she saw the bracelet. She said, that's pretty. Where you get that from? I said, I made it. She said, you did? And I said, yes. And so she said, Sister Margaret, you can make jewelry. You can make some money, in doing it. So I just went and started buying beads and, different stuff. And I started putting together necklaces and beads and earrings and bracelets. And they came out very nice.
What do you love most about yourself?
I love most about myself is I love God, and I want to live a life that pleases Him. And in my loving God, I love people. I don't like to see people down and hurting. And if I can help anybody or encourage anyone, I thank God He gave me that a spirit of love to encourage people. If I see somebody hungry, I love the fact that I will reach out to them and I'll feed them. I just love myself because I love people. And this is what God will have us to do.
Give me one word that describes you.
I chose compassion because I really have a heart for people, animals too.
What would you say to a young lady who's trying to find her way in this life?
First of all, if you're trying to find your way, my niece that is interviewing me right now, I always would tell her, seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. And He said, all of these things shall be added unto you. So that would be my first go-to, to tell people, seek God first. Find your way in Him. Don't try to do things your way, yourself, because a lot of time, and that's what happened to me, when you try to do it your way, you're going to fall in a trap that you don't see. And that's how I wound up in abusive marriage, because I thought I had something good to go into, but it wound up being faulty. So I would say seek God, ask God direction, pray. And if you meet someone, just don't go for it right away. You make sure you research and know what this person is all about. Ask questions if you have to, but know what you're getting into before you get into it. That's what I would advise someone.
Thanks for watching.